Hello guys.
Hello guys, back again.
TFC Showdown का पहला episode है सही वाला ये in the sense that we're going to discuss something which is happening right now in sports, which is the French Open. एक tennis में जो है तुम दोनों की
What a way to start.
And yeah, it's going exciting. अभी हमने वही बात कर रहे थे. It's reached the fourth round stage अभी. So the tournament has gone, had some upsets, had some results. But एक चीज अभी भी है कि Nadal is still going strong. He's in the fourth round.
For the past 40 years.
And
To add on to that, basically the French Open is all about Nadal and the challengers. It's like a PlayStation or a Mega Drive video game where he's the top boss and you just have to climb up the rankings to face him.
So Nadal, obviously, last episode के मुताबिक मैंने एक डिसीजन दी थी कि fourth round या quarter final में Nadal पे if he हो सकता है. And tomorrow is the big match, or I think in the afternoon, which is Nadal versus Sinner. जो एक किस्म का कह रही हैं कि Nadal का proper test शायद पहला है before the quarter semi start, because Sinner is a good player. What do you think about that, Usman? क्या लग रहा है कि are you scared about Nadal या are you still?
No, I am a bit skeptical that it's going to be a tough challenge for Nadal because Sinner is a good player. Because the first time I saw him playing was last year at French, and he was just a 19-year-old, I think, and he gave Nadal a bit of tough time at that age on clay, which is a big thing for a 19-year-old a pro player. So that's why I'm a bit worried about Nadal, but not as much. But anything can happen, as you know.
That's sports.
In sports, yeah. You can never be 100% sure.
But for Nadal in the clay, उसमें काफी हद तक 100% ही people do consider that. Yeah, so, but just adding on to that point, I want to ask you, Heather, about this Sinner Nadal aspect. You've seen Sinner play in the tournament, yet you've seen matches. Do you think he has improved from the last year he's talking about, and do you think he can still give a tough time?
Well, the thing that impresses me the most about Sinner is his body language. I mean, when you watch him play, he doesn't seem like a 19-year-old. You know, he's one of those players who seems like a 25, 26.
Strong as well.
Yes, very strong physically and mentally. I'd say he's one of those youngsters, you know, who has a cool head. Although when he was serving for the set last year against Nadal, he lost his service game, which is an area where he can improve, and he's done well this year. I think he played one 5-setter, one 4-setter, and in the last match he won in straight sets. Yes,
he feels mature as well. Like he never celebrates something like he has achieved everything.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's about at the French Open, the pressure should always be on Nadal because he is always the overwhelming favorite. So I think Sinner will have a shot. I think he'll have to play the match of his life, which I don't think he will be able to do. But I think if he takes a set off Nadal, then it might soften him up going further in the tournament. That's only when Nadal can lose, and I hope he loses.
Yeah.
I'll add one more thing.
He's told his.
He's obviously going to say that, but Nadal needs to win the first set for me. Like,
yeah, that's your point.
For the momentum.
Nadal will probably
Then
win easily if he gets the
If
first
he
set.
wins the first set, he is unbeatable.
Okay, so now let's moving on. Obviously, Nadal is the main guy, but we all feel there are some challenges in the French Open, some way or the other. The two I can talk about with you, and then you can expand as well, are Tsitsipas and Djokovic. The two. Tsitsipas is in the other draw, so he'll probably get Nadal if he gets into the final. So Djokovic is the guy who might meet Nadal before. Do you get Djokovic as a challenger this year? Do you think he's doing well right now? He's winning a straight sets, I've seen.
Yeah, he's playing better than last year.
Yeah.
Definitely playing better than last year. I thought last year, you know, even when you watch the highlights or you watch some of the clips, he seemed a bit slow, he seemed a bit jaded. I don't know what it was really. I was discussing with Usman. We actually watched the match together, and it was just as if he was, you know, injured and out of breath. And although the conditions should have suited him more that year against Nadal, because this year Nadal's forehand ball is bouncing 7 inches higher than last year.
Okay.
So technically, it should be more difficult for all the guys this year. But I don't know, Djokovic this year looks in the zone. I think he is determined to sort of avenge his loss from last year. And I think he's lost to Nadal now 5 times in a row on clay. And I think he just wants to, he's very desperate to turn that around. And I think he deep down really wants to, you know, shut all those questions out as to who is the greatest of all time. Because if he does get his second French Open, and even though he's still one stand behind,
he's not even a dark horse now.
He's not no,
that's what we're talking in the car as well.
No chances he had dark horse.
He's probably the main contender.
He's the only
person both of them. So.
In a best of 5-set match, he's the only person right now who I think realistically can beat Nadal. Or he can soften him up at least to the point where when Nadal goes to the final, he might be slightly more vulnerable, but we all know in the final it's all in the head.
Yeah. So Heather has talked about Djokovic. There's the other player I mentioned, Tsitsipas. Do you believe he's like Nadal had a great match in the Australian Open with Tsitsipas? Then
Also,
in the middle ATP matches,
he
Nadal
has
Tsitsipas
also he's beaten Nadal on I think it was Madrid Open. If I
2019.
remember, yeah, 2019.
So
No, even this year.
This year he's beaten
he had
Clay
a
as well.
match with Tsitsipas.
This year, no, Tsitsipas actually had a match point in Barcelona.
Yeah.
But Nadal managed to overcome that, which I think actually is a good thing for Tsitsipas because the psyche in sports. Once you've beaten someone, next time you're sort of being chased and you're under pressure.
So, yeah, my question was that do you think Tsitsipas has improved?
I think Tsitsipas is very lucky. The
And
reason
he
is
looks focused. We were just watching his match now.
he looks focused. He's
just won.
winning straight sets. He's a very good clay player. He has a lot of power shots, and also luck is on his side because he has been in the draw, which is comparatively much easier than the draw in the where the big three are. So he will have I think he will have a walk in the park to the final, and he will be all fresh to chase whatever challenger he's going to have. Probably it's going to be Djokovic or Nadal. So I think now the match between them is going to be a tough, long match, which is going to benefit Tsitsipas in the final. So Tsitsipas has the best chance to win a Grand Slam on clay.
But I
would like to add on to this that Tsitsipas has I've started watching tennis with you guys this year more fluently. Before that, I wouldn't watch matches. I
you
would
were a
just
Safin fan, right?
yeah, I was a huge Merit Safin fan, and when he retired, I moved on from tennis somewhere or the other. But
I hope that doesn't happen to us.
yeah, but Safin wasn't as good as obviously these guys are, so you can't
Nothing
compare
compared
that.
to
So,
these 3 players.
but I would like to add on that since I've been watching, I know I've been also critical. I've seen you being critical about the fact that these young players are not giving enough fight. But the one player I am impressed, which I now mentioned as well, was Tsitsipas. He's the one player I feel like is improving with every tournament I see. He looks like he's becoming more focused. However, it's all about what they're made of because Thiem won the first Grand Slam and now he's completely disappeared. So these young players need to get in mentally as well to become really strong and start fighting for these tournaments every season, every tournament. So
The team was a shot because he was 2 times finalist in the French, and then he won the Grand Slam as well.
but Thiem can also make a comeback. It's been one season, so
The first round defeat was a big shock.
another player I would mention, Heather, and you can come up with him as well, that today is a big night match as well, which is Nishikori and Zverev. Zverev is also one of those players who almost every time mentioned somewhere around on clay as well. So do you think he can also be a surprise package in getting into...
He also won
And
that.
which draw is he in? Is he in the difficult draw?
He also won that ATP 1000 as well.
Madrid Open.
Madrid Open.
Well, the conditions in Madrid really suited Zverev because of his serve and everything. But the thing that I see with Zverev
Is he
that
in the difficult draw though? Is he in the draw
He's
with
in the same
Nadal?
he
draw.
has a potential meeting with
So Tsitsipas and Zverev semi-final can happen.
Yeah, that's the only chance he's going to have.
he was in the draw with Dominic Thiem now. Thiem is obviously out.
So it's open now.
Coming back to Zverev, I think the only problem I have with Zverev is that he's a guy who moves so well for a 6'5" or 6'6"
He is
person.
very tall. Yeah.
But his problem is his forehand and his second serve. For the past 2-3 seasons now, I've been noticing he has not improved it at all. I mean, even now, his early round matches are being pushed to 5 sets, 4 sets because of his double faults. And he seems to tighten up and seems to just roll that second serve in. And imagine him and Nishikori are the 2 guys who are playing the most 5 sets regularly. Although that shouldn't be the case with Zverev. If you have a serve which you're serving at 220 kilometers per hour, it should be a walk in the park for you. So I don't know what it is. Either it's mental for him or it's
Should be winning
it
straight
is
sets.
mental. He should be winning in 4 sets at
Should
most. So
And
Such
to
a
be
great
adding,
player.
he should be right now one of the top players.
He's the top player. He's a
But
number
one-
5, 6
yeah.
ranked in the
Yeah,
world.
but he should be winning those tournaments, the big tournaments.
I think Tsitsipas at the moment is probably the mentally toughest of the lot because his win over
I'm
John
talking
is
about outside the top 3. Like
Top three,
Tsitsipas is
yeah.
probably
Top
you're saying
10.
is the next top 3 का मतलब ये हुआ कि Djokovic, Nadal and Federer के बाद the next guys are Tsitsipas, Zverev and probably Thiem somewhere the other future.
team. I think now is
And Medvedev, I haven't
Medvedev as well.
mentioned.
He's also doing really well.
And he's surprised because he hadn't won a match in clay.
All of a sudden now
French Open, and now he's doing
We're
well.
also missing one more player in this top 10 is Schwartzman.
Which
He
he's
is
in the
an
tournament till now as
amazing
well.
clay player, and he's also beaten Nadal.
He's a clay expert.
Okay.
Though. He hasn't done
Yeah.
well in other tournaments. He's
Pretty-
done well in French mostly.
Schwartzman, I think, in a way, it might work out well for Nadal because he's the type of player who will give Nadal a lot of rhythm before he plays Djokovic from the baseline. Because we know Schwartzman pretty much has a 5% chance of actually beating Nadal. He might take a set off him, might make him a bit tired, but I don't know. It's a French Open. The only person who can really beat him right now is Novak Djokovic. Maybe Tsitsipas in the final, but the problem with Tsitsipas is he has never ever been to a Grand Slam final. So how will that play out?
It's
The pressure
mental,
would take
it's a
him,
mental, the mental pressure would take over.
Personally, I think Zverev, if he does make it to the final, I'm looking at all options. If Zverev makes it to the final, we saw how nervous he got when he was playing against Thiem. He was up 2-0, got back to 2-all, and then he actually served for the championship, got broken to love, double faulted, missed his forehands. So this is the part where these guys really need to improve. Medvedev has never won a match on clay before. Now, if he reaches the final all of a sudden, how will he handle the occasion?
Yeah.
So this is where I think Nadal will still have the advantage unless Djokovic really pushes him deep into the fifth set where he's actually tired. But I can't imagine Nadal being tired in a Grand Slam final in any slam, let alone the French Open.
So we discussed the whole aspect and what we thought. Now, a breaking news story that just came an hour before we shooting this video was that Federer has withdrawn from the French Open.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask Heather first because obviously he is a Federer fan, and how does he feel about the fact that he's withdrawn? And also adding to that question is the fact that how did you feel he played? Because he, I think, exceeded my expectations. I thought he wouldn't do this well. He did pretty well, in my opinion, after coming back from an injury. And
well, obviously, when a player you follow so much admire withdraws from any tournament you feel sad. But at the same time, it's an encouraging sign because this just shows that Federer is planning for the long run. He said initially that his main target is Wimbledon this year, and that's where his season really begins. So he was using the French Open as his warm-up really, and it's amazing, he was using a Grand Slam for his warm-up and he managed to reach the fourth round because he wasn't really taking it too seriously.
It's a big achievement for him.
It was a big achievement, and you saw again, this is where these young guys are lacking. You saw the way Federer fought that in those 4 sets that he played. They were all tight 4 sets, but even though in the end his legs were completely out, he was gassed, he was tired, but he just had that desire to win. And this is where I feel these next geners, they need that desire.
yeah, we've had a lot of discussion about that,
exactly.
and I completely, when I started matches, like watching the matches, I used to sometimes question him in that sense, where is he coming from? But then I watch these matches and I completely understand where he comes from because it is a little irritating in that sense as well, that why are these youngsters from the ages of 18 to 24, 25
Exactly.
are getting out of breath while playing people who are nearly 40, 35, and they are not able to compete with endurance with players who are much older than them. Adding to with Usman, Federer wali cheez hi, the commentator yesterday in the match said one really important point which talks again about the point that how youngsters are not able to go and surpass these top 3 players is the fact that Federer in all the matches he's qualified and went to the rounds and now he was in the 4th round, he won all the key points, he won all the key moments. And don't you agree that this is what a big player is made of? Winning
That's
the big
what
points.
Nadal, Djokovic do. They take the points at the right time, which matters them the most, like tie breaks or
Uses,
or breaking the serve.
Yeah.
And also, Djokovic and Nadal have the highest ratio of breaking back right away.
So they never let you go.
Which is even if you break them, you're never up the lead because you need to hold the next serve right away, which they don't. That's the
To add
difference.
to Swan's point, these next geners also, I think they need to add to the game a bit more. They are pretty much all baseliners. Nadal and Djokovic, with age, have reinvented themselves. They've improved their serve, they've improved their net play, they've improved their slice. They've added more dimensions to their game. And although they are not as natural as, let's say, Roger Federer, but they're still, all pretty much very good all-round players.
Because these players are not the same. They evolve every year because Nadal goes to practice and he changes his game. Because at the start of his career, you can see he was running all over the court. Now he's concentrating more on the aces, more on different game style. Because you need to evolve in order to win or go on that long.
So guys, we've discussed French Open and what it has been through right now. Inshallah, we will come back and we'll see the next time.
Let's come with predictions
I
before
was
we
going to
end.
end. Yes, Sakib. So,
Yeah.
But for the next match, not for the.
No, for the next matches, I think we'll just come up with predictions regarding how this tournament will go and in where some players might end up. So my prediction is that Nadal, which has been from the start, that Nadal might not go past the quarterfinals. Which is my prediction. It's a stupid prediction in some people's eyes.
it's not
So
super.
we assumed last year was stupid prediction, but
it is a prediction, and I am openly saying it's a prediction on the feeling I'm getting. It's not about the numbers.
It's not about facts.
It's not about
nothing.
facts. It's about just a feeling I have Last year I had a feeling that it's his 100th victory, he will get it.
I also go with the
So
same.
it's like, yeah. So I have that, and I feel because now I have to add something to it because Nadal is obviously not winning. I have a feeling Djokovic is winning French Open this year.
Can I give my prediction?
Yeah,
Sure.
this is my prediction. Djokovic is winning.
We have the same end result. I think Djoko is going to beat Nadal in the semi-final, and it's going to be Djokovic with his Tsitsipas in the final, and Djokovic same prediction. Djoko is going to win.
And so, whether
I was going to say what you were going to say, but I mean, it's Nadal and the French. I've previously, as a Federer fan, I've longed for this so much for Nadal to lose, but the only person really surprised me was Soderling.
surprisingly,
He's not in the picture
I don't
anymore.
know the picture anymore. It is Federer,
He was there
unfortunately.
just for 2 years. He gets scared for Federer.
I mean, I'll go with Djokovic. No, okay. I'll go with Djokovic. Fine. I'll go with my
all
instinct.
three of us go with Djokovic. However, my prediction.
No, we're wrong.
Yeah, but
I don't want to say Nadal. That's too boring.
yeah, and also that he doesn't want it.
No,
Also,
obviously, I'm a fan. I want Nadal to
You
win,
want it.
but I have a feeling that Djoko is playing really well and he wants that vengeance.
so all three of us have said Djokovic. So
Which is
maybe we're
surprising.
wrong, maybe we're right.
Yeah,
I don't know. I went through because I had a feeling. You went through because you really don't want it.
I went to the performances
And
there.
he's what he's seen. So let's see. And the next time we come and make a show on French Open, we'll probably know the result of what happened and देखते हैं whether our predictions are
Yeah,
right.
either
or
I'll
not.
be tearing down the studio because
Oh,
Federer's record
my
might be
God.
broken.
Oh, my
Or you'll be tearing down the studios because yes, Nadal has been beaten eventually.
Oh, I
so
also.
both ways.
How is this possible?
So anything can happen.
In this belief.
But yeah, man, just not taking anything away from Nadal. It's not like we're against Nadal.
No, I want to see him pushed, honestly, because
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
even he will admit it's too monotonous at the French. Not dropping a set in
I
4
want him to
tournaments.
be pushed, but I want the end result for the Nadal.
What we both can just agree on that Usman here has played it safe. Him being a Nadal fan, he hasn't chosen Nadal and he's just gone away. And then when the day Nadal actually wins, he's going to get up and say, "Hey, my favorite guy has won." So you played it safe here, but let's see.
Even last year, I gave a prediction that Djokovic was going to win 4 sets, which I was wrong.
Now, you were laughing when I
Yeah.
said Djokovic is losing
But
his straight sets.
Djokovic, the point about Djokovic is that he wants all the difficult challenges to be won.
The only reason why I also chose Djokovic was because I really think he's smarting from that last year's defeat. I mean, the way he was destroyed, you know.
Especially the bagel, that hurts. I just played like Djokovic.
And when he comes back, he punishes.
I just think that he's in that zone right now where I think he won't treat Nadal as Nadal on clay. I mean, obviously he'll know that it's Nadal, but I think
You treat him as a victim.
he'll treat him as someone who he needs to beat
Yeah,
to
but
achieve the GOAT status.
Also, I would add one more thing. I think this semi-final between Djokovic and Nadal is going to be one of the most epic semi-finals we will witness this year.
That also considering
I
whether
have
both
it.
of them reach at that